We're naming names when it comes to killing Governor Abbott's priority. It's November 20th, 2023, and these are your headlines. So our first story is a big update on what we were talking about last Friday. Actually, last Friday, as we were talking, it was literally happening in the Texas Capitol. They were voting for the first time in decades on school choice. However, during that vote, as we discussed would likely be the outcome, school choice was killed by the members of the Texas House, leaving the fate of this fourth special session uncertain in Austin. Now, as a little bit of a recap, House Bill 1 by State Representative Brad Buckley, it included billions of dollars in teacher pay raises and additional school funding. The legislation also included a school choice element. That was the controversial part. And despite being a priority of the Republican Party of Texas and Governor Greg Abbott, who has traveled the state this year talking about how this is his biggest priority, House members ignored it. The House repeatedly rejected school choice programs, and this vote was no different, as members voted to strip the school choice element out of the bill entirely. The amendment was authored by Representative John Rainey, who announced he would not be seeking re-election earlier this year. John Rainey, by the way, went to one of these school choice events earlier this year hosted by Governor Abbott, was up there on stage with him at the front of the room. Now he was leading the effort to kill the governor's priority. Every Democrat voted against school choice, but I've had a lot of people ask me this: who were the Republicans that voted alongside Democrats, alongside teachers' unions to kill a priority of the Republican Party of Texas? Well, here are the names. The Republicans that voted to kill school choice in the Texas House, there were 21 of them. They include Steve Allison, Ernest Bales, Keith Bell, Dwayne Burns, Travis Clardy, Drew Darby, Jay Dean, Charlie Guerin, Justin Holland, Kyle Cassell, Ken King, John Kemple, Stan Lambert, Andrew Murr, who led the impeachment of Ken Paxton, by the way, For Price, John Rainey, Glenn Rogers, Hugh Shine, Reggie Smith, Ed Thompson, and Gary Van Dever. Some of those members, like John Rainey, For Price, are actually not running for re-election. A lot of the other members actually already have people challenging them in the Republican primaries. Now, what's next for school choice? Well, following that vote on Friday, Representative Buckley moved to send the bill back to committee, meaning there was no vote for now on the overall spending package. The House is standing at ease until tomorrow, where the Speaker has said that they will essentially adjourn for Thanksgiving. So not a lot happening in the Texas House this week. The Texas Senate, of course, has passed school choice numerous times. Abbott says he may call lawmakers back for additional special sessions into next year if the program does not pass now.
Do you want to see the world around you change? Are you looking for an internship that will help Texans lead the way in our country?
Texas Scorecard provides real news for real Texans and is one of the fastest growing news outlets in the state. Right now, Scorecard is looking for young people interested in journalism and media.
We call it the fellowship. Not exactly that kind of fellowship, but you will find yourself around like-minded world changers dedicated to telling stories that matter to Texans.
We're looking for young people ages 18 to 25 to join our paid fellowship. All fellows will receive a monthly stipend of $2,000 to cover their expenses.
Fellows will have the opportunity to specialize in one of three tracks: writing, research, and administration.
Go to texasscorecard.com/fellowship to apply today.
As the Republican primary election draws closer, Governor Abbott has endorsed Donald Trump's 2024 presidential bid. Now, Governor Abbott made the announcement Sunday afternoon at the South Texas International Airport at Edinburgh, at a pretty small event right there in South Texas. Most of Trump's brief comments revolved around the crisis at the southern border, which has hit record levels since Joe Biden, of course, took office in 2021. The endorsement comes over a year since Trump announced his plans to seek a second term. Can you believe it's been just over a year that we have been in this campaign? Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Attorney General Ken Paxton, Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller and Land Commissioner Don Buckingham all endorsed Trump early in his campaign. Governor Abbott had so far held out. Trump joked at the event that Abbott's not free and easy with his endorsements. And the endorsement is interesting because it does buck many of Abbott's largest donors. For example, S. Anwar, who has given Abbott nearly $7 million, has split his support between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Edward Roski Jr. and Kelsey Warren, two other of his donors, have both supported DeSantis. And John Now, who serves as Abbott's campaign treasurer, has donated to Stand for America, which is Nikki Haley's political action committee. Earlier in the day, Abbott and Trump served meals to DPS officers and National Guard stationed at the border who would not be home for Thanksgiving. People down there right now as part of Operation Lone Star. Abbott is the 7th governor now to endorse Trump ahead of the Republican primary election next year. Texas's election, by the way, mark your calendars, will take place on March 5th. Lastly, in some more presidential news, Texas State University in San Marcos will be the site of the first presidential debate in 2024. The announcement was made today by the Commission on Presidential Debates. That's the nonprofit that has hosted the general election debates since 1988. Texas State will be the first university in the state to host a presidential debate. It's also kind of an interesting fun fact here, the only university in Texas to have a former president as an alumnus. Do you know who it is? Maybe I'll give you a few seconds. All right, you got it? It's Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson. He graduated in 1930 when the school went under the name Southwest Texas State Teachers College. The chancellor of the university said it's fitting that the only university in Texas to graduate a U.S. president will be the first university in Texas to host a presidential debate. On behalf of our university community, Texas State is honored to represent Texas on the international stage and to play a direct role in the nation's democratic process. That was added by the university's president, Kelly Damphouse. The debate, which will take place on September 16th, 2024, again, bring out your calendars. We got a lot of dates to pencil in. That debate will be the first in a series of 4 debates scheduled by the commission to take place next year. And the general election, of course, will take place on November 5th, 2024. For more of today's stories, head to TexasScorecard.com.